I'd like to call the Livingston Parish Council regular meeting for September 28th, 2017 to order. Would everyone please stand? Mr. Talbot?
I would like to ask our parish county agent, Mr. Kenny Sharp, please, to pray.
Father, we we're grateful for this day. Father, we just thank you for the blessings of it, for your watch and for your care over us. And Lord, we pray that you be with us tonight as we're in this meeting. Father, we just thank you for the way that this parish is progressing and moving forward, for these leaders who would come, Father, and give all their time and their talents to help us to grow and to lead. Father, we just thank you that you allow us to live in a community where people come together and help each other. Neighbors help neighbors. And Father, we just pray for those people that have been less fortunate than us. And Father, particularly for those people still recovering from our flood from last year. Lord, we just pray your blessings upon them. And just lead these guys, lead this meeting. Father, just give them the wisdom and the strength to do the things that they need to do. And may they be led by you. And we pray.
Amen. Amen.
Mr. Avery, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Sandy, would you call the roll?
Mr. Lavelle?
Here.
Mr. Avery?
Here.
Mr. Mack?
Here.
Mr. Ard?
Here.
Mr. Wascom?
Here.
Mr. Garlinghouse?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Here.
Mr. Talbert?
Here.
At this time, I'd like to remind everyone, if you have your cell phones, please put them on mute or turn them off. Thank you. Also, if you're to the public, if you hear anything you want to discuss, any topic we bring up, please just raise your hand, be recognized, and come forward, and we'll hear what you have to say. Item 7 is presentations. Do you have any presentations this week? So item 8 is to adopt a resolution to approve a request for the Livingston Parish Clerk of Court's Office to purchase a vehicle as per Louisiana Revised Statute 13783D1. Mr. Harris.
But we wanted him to be last.
No. I can't do that to someone I just met. Next time I'll put him at the end of the thing.
All right, so we'll keep him around to watch.
Good evening. As you can see on here, there's a revised statute that the clerk of court's office in Livingston must ask permission, I guess you'd say, from the governing authority, the parish council, to purchase a vehicle not to exceed $19,500. Just to give you a quick update. We have had a vehicle, a 2012 Tahoe that went 5-6 feet underwater last August. We had a 2007 Tahoe that was at the courthouse that had 160 some odd thousand miles on it, had a lot of problems. We sent it to auction and has been sold. So we're looking to have permission to purchase another vehicle, which we have found. And I did get some quotes. We ran it by our attorney and our auditors. And we have a vehicle we'd like to purchase. It's a 2015 Chevrolet Traverse with 40 some odd thousand miles on it. And it is under $19,500. So I just need a vote from the council to hopefully approve that. It will not cost you anything, though I did hear the budget numbers and sound like y'all want to chip in. We're more than willing to. Y'all going half with us, that's fine. It absolutely don't cost the parish 1 cent. It's all funded by us, the clerk's office, and we'd appreciate it if you would support that resolution so we can have a vehicle to run around in. We do a lot of things. We have a Dental Springs office. We're over the elections. We use it during elections, things like that, just in and around the parish.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the purchase of that vehicle for the clerk of court's office.
Motion by Mr. Wascom. Second by Mr. King. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Item 9 is the adoption of the minutes for the September 14th, 2017 regular meeting of the council.
Make that motion to accept.
Motion by Mr. Ard.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Talbert. Any discussion from the audience? Anything further from the council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Item 10, Parish President's Report. Mr.
I'd
President.
like to ask for a resolution authorizing me to enter into an agreement with the assessor's office for them to build a 15,000 square foot building on a little over 2 acres that we own, which they will fully fund and pay for. So I need a resolution from you all authorizing that. There will still be times when we'll come back for different bids on the different parts of the building and things like that, but this is just enter into a corporate endeavor agreement with them so they can move forward. And I apologize, I thought it had rolled over, but at the same time, a resolution giving Mr. Taylor permission to name the building the Delmas L. Taylor Governmental Annex Building in honor of his late father.
To do that, we vote on the initial, and then we'll lift the agenda to name it. So I need a motion to approve the cooperative endeavor. Motion by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. King. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from council? Ms. Sandy, would you call the vote?
Mr. Lobel?
Yes.
Mr. Averitt?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Greenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Harris? Mr. Topper?
Yes.
This time I need a motion to lift the agenda in order to name the new building, the Delmas L. Taylor Governmental Annex.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Averitt, second by Mr. Lobel. Any discussion from the audience? Anything from the council? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
Name
So
that motion.
we motion to name the building the Delmas L. Taylor Governmental Annex.
I'm gonna make a motion to name the new tax assessor's office of Delmas L. Taylor Governmental Annex.
Motion by Mr. Averitt, second by Mr. Ard. Anything from the audience? Anything further from the council? Ms. Sandy, would you call the vote?
Mr. Lobel?
Yes.
Mr. Averitt?
Yes.
Mr. Mack? Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Greenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Topper?
Yes.
Thank you, council.
Thank you. I need a motion to go back.
Oh, just a quick note, most of you probably already know it, but we do have our new pump vac truck out operational and working.
Outstanding.
$320,000 piece of equipment, but it's going to do, I'll use the word miraculous, but it's going to do a lot of great things for a lot of subdivisions as far as cleaning and drains and things like that. So any issues you have in subdivisions or drains, and I know you all get calls, call us so that we can get it figured in to start working.
I went by, watched them working yesterday.
Well, we started in Lakes at North Park.
That's me.
Had a lot of calls over the last couple of years from there, and so we started there. So hopefully people will see that piece of equipment is being used like it should be, and will be very happy about that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Do me.
I'm making a motion to go back to the regular agenda.
Motion by Mr. Ard, second by Mr. Averitt. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Right. Item 11, Office of Homeland Security Emergency Preparedness, Mr. Harrell.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Layton failed to say something, so I'm going to say it on his behalf. Mr. Layton and I both love you. Either he forgot or he wasn't man enough to say it. I don't know.
He has a hard time expressing his feelings.
All the camera faces that way.
You're number one, too.
Yeah, be loved, Mark. I'm trying to help him out. First on the agenda, I'm asking for a resolution to accept the project on Plantation Avenue. It's complete, and we're ready to close that one out.
All right, accepting the contract.
I'm with you.
All right. Motion by Mr. Harris.
Second.
Yeah.
Second by Mr. Ard.
They said they made it too smooth, Mark.
Yeah, we're gonna go back and name it again. We're gonna
Can we
name
cut
it
some
Pothole
grooves in
Lane.
it?
We'll go back, put some potholes in it, and
Yeah.
that'll slow everybody down.
They complain about the speed because this road's too smooth, so I don't know if we need to do something different.
Has MPO money on that?
They just put some two-way stops.
Like an MPO project.
Anyway,
Oh,
yes.
The resolution also needs to state, during Mr. Layton's authorization to sign the final acceptance.
All right. Resolution authorizing the final acceptance of the contract with Barrier Construction Company, LLC, as complete for the Livingston Parish Plantation Avenue and Enterprise Drive Road Improvements Project through the Livingston Department of Transportation and Development State Project number 0091880, and to give the parish president approval to sign such authorization. I have a motion by Mr. Harris. I have a second by Mr. Ard. Anything from the audience? Anything pertinent further from the council? Ms. Sandy, would you call the vote?
Mr. Lidwell.
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
Mr. Mack.
Yes.
Mr. Ard.
Yes.
Mr. Wascom.
Yes.
Mr. Girlinghouse.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Mr. Talbot.
Yes.
Item
All
B.
right. Number 2 is a resolution authorizing Mr. Layton to sign an agreement between the parish and DOTD to finally, and I repeat, finally, move forward with the Holden Sidewalk project. I've been here a little over 5 years, and this project has been going on that long that I know it's been held up because we could not work out an agreement with CN, Canadian National. So we had to do some modifications, and now we're ready to move forward. So we're asking for that.
Is that funding of that safer deal around the schools and stuff?
It's a sidewalk project only. That's the only thing you can do with it.
Okay.
I need a motion.
I'd like to make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Mack,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Harris. Any further discussion from the audience? Anything further from the council? Ms. Sandy, would you call the vote?
Mr. Lidwell.
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
Mr. Mack.
Yes.
Mr. Ard.
Yes.
Mr. Wascom.
Yes.
Mr. Girlinghouse.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Mr. Talbot.
Yes.
I'm sorry, did we jump you on that?
No, that's fine. Then next is we have 3 properties that we need to introduce an ordinance. This hazard mitigation funding, it's acquisitions, and I guess unless nothing has changed, we have to introduce an ordinance and then come back later and vote on it. So
Yeah.
I'm asking to do this on 3 properties. We'll have a few more probably on the next meeting.
All right, we'll do these one at a time. Need a resolution for the acquisition of 32796 Cypress Drive, Springfield, Louisiana, 70462. A motion?
This is an introduction of an
Oh.
ordinance.
Okay, so you want to read it by title?
This is proposed ordinance 17-36. It's an ordinance to acquire movable property for the parish of Livingston pursuant to the flood mitigation assistance program in Livingston Parish. And the address in question is 32796 Cypress Drive in Springfield, Louisiana. Public hearing will be at 6 p.m. on October the 12th.
Okay, I need a motion. Motion by Mr. King. A second by Mr. Watts. He just kind of pointed his finger at me like that. And, yeah, Mark
We
Watts.
got to do it 3 times. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
I have a question.
I'm sorry, John Wascom. His brother's name's Mark. I don't know if you knew that, so sorry, John.
That's okay. Quick question. Mark, these, when we approved the mitigation of these properties, my question is this guaranteed that it'll be acquired by
Oh,
the
yeah, they're
parish?
approved.
So this is
This
the
is the
final
last
step?
step that I need to
So
go
these
ahead
will
and
be
purchase the
purchased?
property.
So it's okay. So the application, they've already made application and without the request of the board, and now it's just to be done.
And just, if you've not been involved in a mitigation project or an acquisition, whatever the property is appraised for, we pay 75% of that. Buy it out, we have funding in there to demo it, everything that goes to green space.
Now, if they got insurance money or something, that would be deducted from the appraised?
All that's been discussed.
And that's all?
And it depends on which grant.
It goes-
We're working 3 different grants now in mitigation, so one might be pre-disaster, one might be post-disaster appraisal. It gets tricky, and then it also, you take in consideration their income, everything.
But if someone in one of our districts is interested in either acquisition or mitigation, raising, elevating their property, they should contact your office, correct?
Now, everything's in play on the funding we have now. We're waiting for we've been promised 62 million, and there's going to be around 15, maybe 20 million, depending on the need for elevations and acquisitions next year. But don't count on that to come until next year. Then you have to start building your application. So if we're lucky,
How long
extremely
would-
lucky, we may start doing elevations and acquisitions by Christmas next year.
And how long were these acquisitions in the pipeline?
Once we build the application,
No, when did these applications?
oh, they can start coming in now. We put them on the list. We're not going to build an application until we get the money in hand.
Maybe I didn't ask it correctly. The ones that we approved tonight,
Oh,
when did those start the application process?
no, we're finished. This is the last
How long
step.
have they been in the,
Oh, 6 months.
okay. So about
Yeah,
6
they move these pretty quick.
Because in the long run, it saves the government money.
Saves everybody money.
Yeah.
And actually, it helps you, everyone with their flood insurance. Because every home you get out of the flood zone, it helps reduce the flood insurance.
All right.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, we have it.
You waiting on us?
Yeah, but that's okay. Any discussion from the audience? Yes, sir. Come forward. I saw you back there. I knew you was getting ready to pull the trigger.
Question, I'm hoping Mr. Harrell can help
Just
me on
state your
this.
name.
My name's Gordon Courtney, live in Albany now, have property in Holden that flooded. This acquisition money, is this part of the $68 million that the parish is getting, that, you know, you hear talk about the
No.
parish getting $68 million?
All right, let's clarify that. We only received $62 million of new funding. The delta between 62 and 68 is a reallocation for cost overruns on some projects we had running. So that funding, we will not start the process until next year. We've been told we're going to get it. Until I get that paperwork in my hand, we don't count it.
But this, of the $62 million, some of that money will be used for acquisition and elevation. Do you have any idea what portion of that money is actually going to go to flood mitigation by way of drainage improvements, clearing of lateral ditches, you know, some of the problems that we have out in the eastern end of the parish?
Honestly, I hope none of it.
Well, that's really not very good to hear.
But because I'm looking at another $50 million in another group, that's all you can do with that funding. So we have time before this funding comes in to make sure we get the next group of funding. If we get that, all of that will go to drainage funding.
Well,
So
Hey, I'm sorry.
With all due respect, my biggest concern is we have a couple of taxes, referendums that we want to put forward for gravity drainage districts. People in the parish see all of this notification that the parish gets 62 or 68 million dollars. They don't see anything happening in the east end of the parish with Tickfall, Cat Branch, Big Branch, Natalbany. None of those rivers, they don't see any activity on those rivers. When it comes time to pull that lever, they're going to say no. They're just going to say no. They're going to say, why should I vote to give the parish more money when I don't see anything happening in my district?
all right, let me clarify something. We're going to clean the Talbotty River, a joint project between Livingston and Tangipahoa Parish. It will be cleaned from Highway 22 all the way up to where it enters into Tangipahoa towards Independence. That's in the works.
Mr. Harrell, this is off
We're getting in
topic
the
some
weeds.
degree.
I
I mean, and I'm like,
I understand that, we're in the weeds, and I just wanted to know if
You have
any
drainage
portion of that-
projects coming to your district.
Thank you.
you're welcome. Please call the vote, Ms. Sam.
Mr. Ledbetter?
Yes.
Mr. Avery?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Arden?
Yes.
Mr. Westphal?
Yes.
Mr. Granahan?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Talbert?
Yes.
Item 2, acquisition of 1226 South River Road, Dennis Springs, Louisiana, 70726. Miss, you want to? Read it by title.
This will be proposed ordinance 17-37. This is an ordinance to acquire movable property for the parish of Livingston pursuant to the flood mitigation assistance program in Livingston Parish. The question is 1226 South River Road, Denham Springs, Louisiana 70726. The public hearing will be on October 12th at 6 p.m.
Any discussion from the audience?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
With any further discussion from the council? Okay, motion made by Mr. Wascom, second made by Mr. Mack. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 3, acquisition of 20776 Highway 22, Marpaw, Louisiana 70449. Ms. Sandy, would you read by title?
This is proposed ordinance 17-38. This is an ordinance to acquire movable property for the parish of Livingston pursuant to the flood mitigation assistance program in Livingston Parish, and the address is 20776 Highway 22, Marpaw 70449. The public hearing will be held at 6 p.m. on October 12th.
Any discussion from the audience? Any discussion from the council? If not, I need a motion.
Make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Ard, second. Second by Mr. Harris. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Mr.
That's-
Chairman?
Yes, sir,
Just a
Mr.
minute to add something.
Absolutely.
It's a discussion.
Yes, absolutely.
I failed to put something on the agenda. It will be on the next agenda. I just want Mr. Ard to know that we went out on bid for the South Satsuma Bridge project. There's been a construction company chosen. It'll be on the next agenda. And then the next thing, the delta between the 62 million and the 68 million, that was for projects that was already in the works. You could not add a new project. However, we were able, it appears that we're going to be able to take the Satsuma project and expand it and clean Hornsby Creek from about a half a mile, maybe not that far north of Hornado, down to its Coyell, and take Coyell down to the where the other Coyell, where we end close to the bay. So that will get a lot of that water on out. So that's in the works, but we have the money sitting there. It's been allocated.
And that's for like the West Coyell project too.
The west and middle.
Don't make me lie. So which is the one that goes down through Buddy Ellis that we...
That's west.
That's west.
Okay, that's the one we're doing for the NRCS funding. This funding that we're doing on Satsuma, it's taking Hornsby till it hits
Middle.
Middle Coyell, and then take Middle Coyell down to the point where they intersect, and that's where the other one stopped. So,
And that's some of
Hopefully
the
we'll
creeks
get
that
that
we'll be able to
And the
keep
West
clean if
Coyell,
we pass some drainage district.
the money for West Coyell, that's money's already been set aside. That's happening. Do you know a time frame for?
I am hoping to get all of our permits by the end of the year. I have run into a snag with the Tickfaw because it is a scenic waterway, and I am in discussions with Wildlife and Fisheries now. They only allow me to come up just a little ways and stop. So I think we'll get that worked out within the next 2 weeks. Once that happens, I can take everything else, submit to the Corps, and then we're going to start that battle. But I think the Corps is going to be open and move forward pretty quick.
I think the parish is in Big Coyell Creek right now working, aren't they?
Are we bidding it?
Big.
No, the parish is doing. Not mistaken.
He said
Planning.
the parish is in Big Coyell Creek.
Parish.
Really?
I think so.
Not aware.
Well, now you know.
I'm not.
Thank you.
Talk
All
to
right,
James.
so we
or
gotta finish
Jimmy.
these.
Okay.
Did we do both of them?
We did 3.
All right.
All right, item 12, we're now entering a public hearing. This is a public hearing and adoption of LP ordinance number 17-33, servitude revocation, Derek and Erica Abney, Jack Allen Road. Any discussion from the audience? Do you need to before I close it? All right. All right, public hearing is now closed. Ms. Sandy, would you read by title?
This is proposed ordinance 17-33. plat showing the proposed location of existing 40-foot all-purpose servitude located on lot 1A, 118, a portion of the Jones Lambert Estate, located sections 41 and 42, Township 8, South Range, 4 East, Greensburg Land District, Livingston Parish, Louisiana, for Derek and Erica Atkins.
Thank you, Ms. Sandy. This was your, I'm sorry, Mr. LaBelle, did you have anything to add to this?
No.
That pretty much covered it?
Pretty much does it.
All right. Any further discussion from the council? All right. Now I need a motion. Motion by Mr. LaBelle, second by Mr. Averett. Ms. Sandy, would you call the vote?
Mr. Lobel?
Yes.
Mr. Averett?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Westcomb?
Yes.
Mr. Greenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
All right, we're reentering a public hearing. Public hearing for adoption of LP ordinance number 17-34, placement of stop signs in Easterly Lakes subdivision. Any discussion from the audience? If not, declare the public hearing closed. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Talbot, second by Mr. Ard. Ms. Sandy, would you read by title?
Both saying yada yada.
This is proposed ordinance 17-34, ordinance to amend and reenact section 2-9 stop signs. The code of ordinances in the parish of Livingston to add the intersections of R, Dawes, and Diapha, and R, Dawes, and Page, and R, Dawes, and Stanton Hall, and R, Dawes, and Rosary, and Wyeth, and Page, and Wyeth, and Lucas, and Wyeth, and Stanton Hall, and Wyeth, Ola, and Page, and Ola, and Mary, and Stanton Hall, and Mary, and Lucas.
I understand now.
I think you missed
Okay. I understand now why you said that. All right.
That's close enough.
right, we have a-
I'm just a deliverer of the homeowners.
I have a motion in a second. Ss Sandy, would you call the vote?
Mr. Lobel?
Yes.
Mr. Averett?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Westcomb?
Yes.
Mr. Greenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
Item 14 is the introduction of an ordinance to allow the Livingston Parish Planning Commission members a per diem not to exceed $100 for their attendance at meetings for a maximum of 24 meetings as a maximum of 24 meetings, doesn't say per year, but per HB number 12, Act number 20 of the 2017 regular session of the Louisiana Legislature. Mr. Mack.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity to talk about this. Guys, we had discussed a little while back that we wanted to give our planning commission members some compensation to cover, some of their expenses, for traveling back and forth to the meetings and going and seeing the developments, beforehand and stuff like that. And so when we started doing some research, we found out that in order to do that we had to change some state legislation. And so we went through the channels and had that done, and it was all approved. My brother Sherman Mack and Mr. Dale Erdy and our legislators supported us on that, and we're very appreciative of that. And now in order to put this in place, we need to introduce an ordinance and adopt an ordinance, and that ordinance will define how much we're going to pay. And, it's going to be $100 per meeting and up to a maximum of 2 meetings per month. And the $100 will be to attend the meeting. So if you're not at the meeting, you don't receive your $100 that month. And so it's this time I'd like to make the motion that we introduce this ordinance. And I'm very appreciative of all of the planning commission members and the hard work that they do to serve our parish, to help develop this parish. It is very important over the next 10 years so that we take good looks at our developments and that we develop this parish the way it should be developed. And those people are very deserving of this compensation. So with that being said, I'd like to make the motion, we introduce this ordinance.
Motion by Mr. Mack,
Second.
second by Mr. Ard. I too would like to say that the planning board and those guys work really hard. They work really hard. I know Mr. Gerald Burns he represents District 7. And probably most of the people on this council have already sat in his living room at one time, and he will give you a slideshow practically about everything. He is well informed. He has done it for many, many years, and he's done it for nothing. And him and the gentleman on that, I'm not sure there's any women on that board, or ladies and gentlemen.
I got one.
They work hard. I mean, they basically go out and research a lot of the stuff for us, do a lot of the legwork for us, and I think they are very deserving. So I reiterate what you said. Absolutely,
They make our job much easier thanks to their.
they absolutely do, and I'm thankful for those guys, not just my own, but the ones that worked in the other districts too. So with the motion is second, any further discussion from the audience? Anything further from the council?
Not just that's the cell phone call charges or time that they spend on
Yep.
cell phones. I mean, I know it cost a lot of money because I talked to them a
Yep.
lot. And so that money would go,
It is, I'm thankful for everyone who volunteers for any board and any
And they
thing
were
that
the
they
only
do.
one excluded, right? So in the whole parish, I believe, that didn't receive any kind of stipend to help with.
Well, no, you have people that serve on different boards that don't receive anything. But, I mean, these guys really, it's a job.
It is.
I mean, it is a job, and I know that the ones I've seen, and Mr. Burns in particular, works very hard, and has done it for, I think he's probably in his 10th year, and 10th year probably, and never asked for anything, and loves to do it. So,
Nobody ever has.
if not, Ms. Sandy, would you call for the vote?
Can I read it by title first?
You certainly can.
Okay. This will be proposed ordinance 17-39. This is an ordinance amending section 13-48, Parish Council Planning Commission of the Code of Ordinances in and for the Parish, Louisiana, by adding Part H to allow the members of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to receive per diem not to exceed $100 for attendance at meetings for a maximum of 24 meetings per year. And I just want to say this ordinance is a little bit different. The effective date of this ordinance shall be January 1st, 2018. Normally, it's as prescribed by law, but this one is a little different and it sets the date of the effective date. And the public hearing will be October 12th at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Sandy. You can call the vote.
Mr. Lidwell.
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
Mr. Mack.
Yes.
Mr. Ard.
Yes.
Mr. Wascom.
yes.
Mr. Girlinghouse.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Mr. Talbot.
Thank you. Item 15, place a three-way stop at Willowwood Street and Hazelwood Drive and a four-way stop at Jimmy Drive and Millstone Drive. This is just an introduction. This is in District 6. Mr. Averett.
It'll be in Woodland Crossing too,
Oh, it's in Woodland Crossing? Okay.
And let's make that motion.
All right. Motion by Mr. Averett.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ard. Read by title, Ms.
This is proposed ordinance 17-40, an ordinance to amend and reenact section 10-9, stop signs of the Code of Ordinances in and for the Parish of Livingston, to add the intersections of Willowwood and Hazelwood and Jimmy and Millstone. I just want to say Hazelwood, that's a small typo. It's supposed to be E-L and not L-E. The public hearing will be on October the 12th at 6 p.m.
Any discussion from the audience? Anything further from the council? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item 16, I think, was tabled, correct? Okay. Item 17, creation of the Livingston Parish Mosquito Abatement Board. This is an introduction of an ordinance by Mr. Talbert and Mr. King. So
Gary.
Oh, you're going to be quiet on this one?
You know, we all know that the previous, under the previous administration, council, that tried to pass 2 villages to fund mosquito abatement. Both failed. So we have been without mosquito control in Livingston Parish since, what, 2 years now almost? Or right at 2 years?
Yeah.
What we're proposing to do is form the Livingston Parish Mosquito Abatement Board. And we kind of lined out some of the things we want to do. We want to have the 9 council members serve as the board. However, that is contrary to state law that allows us to put the board up. So there have been amendments in the past to the law that you'll do it through a local bill. So we're going to be going to the legislature in, for pre-filings and advertising, after this board's put together, requesting the change of membership. The reason being is because this is something that affects everybody parish-wide. And we have diverse districts with different concerns, and I think it would be not the best thing on our behalf if we didn't include a voice from every area of the parish to speak to. So that's one thing that we're doing, that this board will be contrary that the law allows us to do. We're going to go to the legislature and ask them to fix that. But that, don't you think that'd be okay, Mr. Durant? Yes. The second thing, we wrote an ordinance with this, or me and Sandy wrote an ordinance actually. Where is that, Sandy? Which?
Ordinance? I got it on the phone.
Well, I know, when I was looking to read it, I had it earlier. Basically, it establishes the whole parish being the entity, being the territory of the board. And then, it talks about that the meetings would be held on, I think, the second Tuesday of the month at 5 o'clock, which can be changed at a later date, but since the council would officially be sitting as a board, it would make sense that we have finances, on the fourth Tuesday, that we have it before the second Tuesday meeting. It gives the board of commissioners the authority to hire, buy equipment, raise revenue through taxes or fees. And I think the whole intent of this thing, or what I see as a vision of the board, is to get together, let's discuss what type of mosquito abatement we need in our parish. Let's get some experts to come in and make some recommendations. Let's figure out what it's going to cost us. Let's put a budget together of what this is going to cost. At that point in time, we're also going to ask the legislature to allow us to propose a fee before this. Obviously, ad valorem tax has failed on 2 previous occasions. We had a self-imposed fee before that was kind of more or less on the honor system. If you chose not to pay it, there wasn't any fee anywhere that allowed you to collect it. What we're going to ask the legislature to do is allow us to figure out how much money we need, figure out what we need, put a budget together, and then ask to pass a fee that would be on your assessment, your bill with the assessor, could be collected by the sheriff. The funds, if the people don't want it, they can tell us they don't want it. But what you're hearing, or what I'm hearing, and I think everybody's hearing, is that, mosquitoes are getting out of control, we need to do something. Well, so we're going to give them the opportunity to do something. We're going to try to put together a plan, bring it before the people, give them an opportunity, and see where it goes. And I think this is just one step in the right, one step in a direction to at least give the people a voice one way or the other, whether they do or don't want mosquito abatement in our parish. And so that's why I'm asked that we introduce this, and we'll discuss it some more in 2 weeks. The public can come speak on it if they have some opposition or in support of it. We can move forward.
Do I have to bring somebody in support of it?
No, we know how Miss Kathy feels.
Ms. Sandy, would you read by title, please?
And this will be proposed ordinance 17-41. This is an ordinance providing for the creation of a mosquito abatement district and establish a board in the parish of Livingston, state of Louisiana, comprising all that territory in the parish as set out herein, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. The public hearing is going to be October the 12th at 6 p.m.
Did you make that motion, Mr. Talbot?
I did.
Make that second, Mr. King. All in favor, say aye. Oh, you wanted to
Yeah, I
discuss?
want
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
to mention something. I think you did I appreciate the moving forward with the board to consider mosquito abatement. I mean, and I do want to say something about that. You know, and I understand that you feel like the people voted twice against mosquito abatement last year, or the time, a couple years ago. And you feel like it was mostly because of the funding mechanism is what they voted against, and not the mosquito abatement. I'm assuming that that's how you feel.
That's my gut
Yeah,
feeling.
that is.
And I just know that sometimes government can ask the people, and they voice their opinion, so they didn't like their results, so they ask them again, and they get the same answer. Well, then government just keeps asking until sooner or later they get what they want, either by putting it on a ballot with low turnout, or putting, just bringing it up to do anything they can to try to make things happen. And I'm not against giving to the vote of people. I just think that we just need to go slow, because people have already spoken twice on this and said they do not want it. And whether it's for the funding mechanism or whether it was not, I really ask that we just really go slow and think about this before we just commit 100% to force this on people, because once you do it, it's not optional, and it's a force. You're forcing people to take it whether they want it or not. So I just ask y'all to go slow with this, and that's just how I feel about it. So.
And John, that's why you're going to sit on that board, so you'll have a voice to talk about how slow we need to go, and if represent those that don't think we need mosquito abatement and we don't need to tax it or put a fee before the people. So that's why it was inclusive. That's why the makeup is inclusive, to include every area of it. There's Livingston, the town of Livingston, the town of Walker, and the town of Denham have taken over.
We sprayed
picked up where the parish left off. We gave them the equipment, and
Right.
they started doing it when we defunded the program and dissolved it. But
And Denham still does it.
and Denham's still doing it, and I guess Walker and Livingston are still doing it. But the fact of the matter is, there's tons of areas in the parish that aren't getting any treatment, and those people need to have a voice along with the people of Denham, Walker, and Livingston. And that's why this board's got to make up at 9, and that's why I felt that was important. And that's why we're going to hopefully go to the legislature and ask them to amend the local situation to allow us for a 9-member board.
And I think as you go along and you ask people, let's find out why they voted it down. Was it that they didn't believe in mosquito abatement, didn't think it was effective enough, or was it the funding mechanism?
Or maybe it was effective enough to where they thought we don't need this anymore.
Yeah,
And now
and it
that they
doesn't
don't
work like
have
that.
it.
Yeah.
I understand your point, Mr. Wascom, and part of me has those same thought process. If you keep asking people for it, then you just repackage and ask another way, and you repackage.
You can get anything passed if you put it through the dump.
Well, no, the people always have the right to vote no. But I do think if you have something that you can go back in a couple of years, because people's opinions change. They're not jamming it back to back. It's been 2 years.
With as much backwater as we have everywhere, it has changed.
And I believe Mr. Talbert's approaching this in the correct manner. They're giving every district a say.
I know they come sit outside of my house, they gonna want a mosquito abatement.
Well, that's
They'll back
what I
you
say. You're not going to have much complaints.
Sure.
You're not going to have many
No, I'm not.
complaints.
But we
But
don't
I-
have
I'm a
tons.
small
But I do
area.
understand what he's saying.
Oh, yeah, what he's saying.
The
is
bigger
great.
picture
Yeah.
is let's try to get the people to pass this. And they go, no. So then you go, oh, well, let's repackage it, put a different wrapping on it, and send it back out there again. And I understand that's your concern, because as a voter myself, I get that way. I'm like, eh. But I do believe this is
Well, my questions
Yeah.
that I get are not from the funding mechanism, but from how effective is it when you spray it up especially in the rural parts of the parish, when you spray it up by the road and people don't live up, it's probably more effective in Denham than anywhere in this parish, or in Walker,
Yeah.
than it is anywhere. And so it's wound up spending money that's very inefficient. probably, you know, if it's 50%, it's only 50% of the 10% affected.
But,
Of the
you know,
10% that is
so you think, though. I think the science says differently, though. But, you know.
I'm not a scientist.
I talked yesterday to an entomologist from LSU, and I had a conversation yesterday. And you know, they just, after the hurricane, they went to different areas, especially in the western part of the state, Calcasieu and whatever, and did some treatment. And there's no doubt that a lot of this is timing. And there was one parish, they were trying to get them to spray, and they delayed and delayed and delayed till they determined it was time to spray. Well, there was no need anymore. The mosquitoes had
Run their cycle.
Had run their cycle already based on what the hurricane had left around. And all his position was that we could have saved those people 2 or 3 weeks of torment if we had pulled the trigger on a timely manner. So there's no doubt that you know, it's a combination of things. You need to address the larvae when they're on the water. You need to also spray when they're matured in the air. It's a combination of things that need to happen. But that's what this board's going to do. They're going to look to the scientists to come tell us what we need as a parish to be effective, and then put a price tag on it, and then we'll package it to the people of this is what it's going to cost you, and these are the services we're going to provide, and then the individuals can determine if it's effective or not. You know, think about it. Last time it was correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like a $35 fee per meter. Is that what the initial?
It was 30.
It was at $30 a meter. Well, let me tell you something. I've spent more than $30 this spring at my house on mosquito control. So in essence, you know, if we put a program together that's effective and we're able to address, you know, situations of storms or, you know, how water development, like after the flood when we've got standing water, that we can actually go out and address some of these issues, then I think people will find it's a bargain. But that's going to be for the individual to determine when they hit that ballot box. It's going to take our effort to put forth a plan that we think is effective, that addresses the needs of the people, and then they'll have to get in the booth and vote their pocketbook. That's all we're asking to do. And at that point in time, if the majority votes no, then we've done our job to provide or try to provide mosquito bait, which is what we're being asked. When are y'all going to start spraying again? You know,
Constant.
Until we put a program together and we get funding source for it, the answer is never. So I think you got to give the people an option if that's what they want.
And I think
I didn't realize, guys, before when they were spraying, my house is about 800 feet off the road, that they would actually put a reflector at the end of your driveway if you were so far off the road. And when they came by, they would either go in spraying or go back there, turn around and come out spraying. That would make a difference for a lot of people in my area. Like you were saying, I got a lot of rural folks that feel like, hey man, they spraying the blacktop, but that doesn't really help me 800 feet off
It's killing the ones at the ditch,
Right.
which helps take the numbers down, but if they
But I
came
didn't know
close.
about that till afterwards. I would have definitely had my reflector.
And don't get me wrong, you can aerial spray. You don't necessarily have to spray from a truck. There are ways that it can be done. We're just going to look at let the experts tell us what's effective. And the way to handle it. And I just think that's what we need to do. I'm not an expert. I don't think anybody here that we can speak as a citizen who's paid that fee before. This is what we've heard. This is what we want to see happen. And then let the experts tell us what they think's effective, and then help put a price tag on it. And then we can put it to the people.
Without a budget, you can't do anything.
Go ahead.
Gary, can you put a user fee on that?
That's what we're going to do. That's exactly what we're going to ask. Currently, right now, it's not possible.
Right.
But we can go to the legislature. It's going to be, I've already talked to Senator Erdy about it, and Shane's, I've talked to Shane about it, and I guess he's going to talk to Sherman. Just like we did on any local bill, we'll get together and pass a resolution asking the legislature to address specific issues. Just like we did on the situation with the planning commission.
Mm-hmm.
They'll then put an ad together, and you advertise, you pre-advertise, you pre-file and advertise local bills that are specific to a certain area. That's the way the legislature's set up. and then we can address the specifics of the Livingston Parish mosquito abatement. That number one would allow us to go to a 9-member board, you know, and the second thing we'd ask them to do is to allow us to put before the people a fee. Because let's face it, when a mosquito bites you, he doesn't care what you dress in. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't care if you're wearing a custom-made suit or you wearing your fire retardant stuff that they gave you at the plane. You know, it's irrelevant to him. You know what I'm saying? It all tastes the same. So consequently, that's why I think the fees are more fair, is a fair way, a fair approach to this thing. It doesn't matter if you live in a $25,000 shotgun house or a $500,000 camp on the river. When a mosquito bites, he bites you. And if he's packing a disease, and you're going to be impacted by it. So, you know, that's how I feel that the fees are, in my opinion, seems to be a fair way to approach it. But to answer your question, Jeff, it'll require us asking the legislature that it can be done. And this isn't something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to be a process. But you got to start the process somewhere.
Mr. Watson.
I do think we can.
All our surrounding,
Hang on a second. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Harris.
all our surrounding parishes have mosquito abatement.
Every one of them.
So that's really something we should have here.
Absolutely.
I know in Ascension Parish, my niece has a camp on the river, but it's in Ascension Parish. They come down a long road spraying and all that stuff. And if they having a party or something, all you gotta do is call them. They're gonna charge you an extra fee, but they'll back up under your camp or whatever and just spray for the mosquitoes there. Then leave, you know. And that's things we need to look at. And
But they also have zoning and impact fees over there too. So, I mean, you can't look at it entirely because they have it, we need it.
Yeah.
You know,
In this case, it is.
well, possibly.
Well, I guess the thing is, not to interrupt you, but in talking to that entomologist yesterday, talking about the makeup of Ascension Parish and Livingston Parish have similar makeups. You know what I'm talking about with respect to our geology or our geography.
Oh, for certain.
Yeah.
And waterways, and so, you know, it's very important. You know, there are small parishes that have that to a certain extent have some self-funding, you know, that have some industry that we don't have, that have some self-funded, you know, mosquito abatement situations. Because of property tax differences or whatever. But what I'm telling you is we're a large parish with respect to, you know, surface area and the land that we would have to treat. But the geology and the geography of our area is strongly, it's one of this area, you know, everything kind of east of the Mississippi, after you cross over, it kind of goes away till you get closer to Calcasieu and the western borders of the state. But we're in a prime area that has a tremendous need for mosquito abatement, and we have none.
I agree, and I agree with the way you're approaching this, but I also agree with, not to seem too political, I also agree with Mr. Wascom's concern too. And so, to reiterate what he said, we have to approach that in a manner that would best serve.
Got to get it
and how we
right before we
package
present it. Got to get it right.
And I agree with that.
And the thing you need to look at is, in the history of this country, how many things that greatly needed to happen came up for votes many, many times before they happened. So that's not a good play on, oh, well, they're just going to shove it down your throat. But look at all the things that have happened in this country that it took years and years and years. Big things.
But all due respect, though, a lot of people are going to view it that way.
Yeah.
That because it was voted on and failed, and then voted on again and failed again.
You just have to educate them.
So
why it failed.
Hold up. I want to say I understand what he's saying. I believe we need mosquito abatement. I do. But the arguments that, well, Ascension has it, so we need it. Well, there's a lot of other fingers in play there before you can say that. But I do agree we need it. I do agree that we need it. I think that what Mr. Wascom is correct. I do think we should put it before the people. I don't know if he feels that way. He probably feels like we should not do this, but I'm not going to put words in his mouth. I believe we should. In a second. I have the hardest time speaking as a chairman.
We don't want to from you.
I mean, apparently, I do believe that mosquito abatement is needed in this parish. I do. But I do think that Mr. Wascom is correct in the sense that we need to approach it very carefully, and we need to educate. We can't just say, hey, yeah, mosquitoes might kill you by this poison. I mean, you know, because that has failed twice. Now, it has been a few years, so, you know,
we weren't here then, that's right.
We weren't here then, but a lot of the people that are here now weren't there then.
Well, maybe we'd have done it right.
So what I'm saying is, I don't have a problem voting to form the board because I believe in my heart that it's needed. But I also believe that we need to keep in mind that, and I do believe what you're saying. The way that it was billed last time, I believe we were charged too much. I mean, they ended mosquito abatement, and it went on, a year and a half funded after that before it finally ran out of money.
Yeah, but they cut it way back, the amount they were doing. That's why it lasted.
But, you know,
they made it last.
That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Mr. Joe. Please, you're not getting out of it. You can stand there and want to say something. You can go walk up. Full name and address.
Joe Kozrowski, private citizen tonight. 10783 LA Highway 1033, Mr. Bubba Harrison District.
Thank you, Mr. Joe.
I want to say, I didn't vote against mosquito abatement the last 2 times I voted no. I voted against an inequitable funding source. That's what I voted against. I voted against the fact that I own a lot of property and I was going to pay a ton of money for mosquito abatement. And the guy that lives 3 blocks down and across the street wasn't going to pay hardly anything. Everybody gets bit just like he said. If you put a fee out there, I'll go out and stand on a soapbox and tell everybody, we need to vote for this. I'll vote for it. But I'm telling you, the last 2 times I voted against it because it was the funding mechanism that was inequitable to people who pay most of the taxes in this parish.
Only reason why it failed.
It's the only reason I voted against it. It was the funding mechanism. Not because I didn't want mosquito abatement. Because I didn't want to pay $200-300 a year when a guy living in East Oak was not paying a dime.
Per property.
And they're the ones with the rubber tires and the water sitting in the buckets and everything else.
I understand.
That's just my personal opinion as a private citizen and business owner.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. I think your opinion is spot on.
Take that up tonight.
Tonight your opinion is spot on.
Well, I agree with you 100%. But, you know, we need to change the perception because the perception is wrong. And that's the whole idea behind it. And I know we keep saying that, but keep harping on it. If we're going to form this committee, then we need to not just form the committee and go, here it is, you know.
No.
Oh, you need to test your public.
Exactly.
But I think everybody that I talk to out there has the same, ideas I do. You give me a fee, whether it be $30, $40, $50 a year, you put it on my tax notice. You put it on everybody's tax notice, everybody's going to pay it. You send out a voluntary thing, it was probably 30-40% of the people who got a $30 bill that was actually paying that mosquito abatement last time. You make it mandatory, just like the fees for the fire department that they collect in some of the districts. They don't have a choice but to pay it. And it becomes equitable across the parish.
But they voted, if we let people vote to make it a fee on their tax bill, then the people will have said,
absolutely,
we want mosquito
abatement. But if you tell me I'm going to pay $50 a year for mosquitoes versus I'm going to pay a 3 mil ad valorem tax that's going to cost $300, makes a big difference.
It does. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
That's exactly right. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to start the mosquito abatement board.
Motion by Mr. Avery. So we already got a motion. Second.
We're just having to vote.
Mr. Mack, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I had something to say.
Say it.
I want to say
That's why we're here, guys.
I mean, I agree with all the things that all y'all are saying, and I think that if we form the board and we did our research, and we don't know what direction we'll go at this point, but we can form the board, do our research, and if we can provide that service at a low cost, maybe it'd be a good thing for the people of Livingston Parish. And so let's form the board and see what we can do. That's all I had to say. I'm ready to go.
Anything further from the audience? Yes, sir. Please step forward.
My name is Dalton Sims. I'm on 19276 Lodge Stafford Road. And I didn't mind paying that $33 a year. That was a pleasure. Even when they dropped the pellets by air, it worked. But I sure didn't want that mosquito embankment truck to go in these deer camps where they don't have a meter, but they go in there fogging, they come back out fogging, and when they hit the road, they're doing 50 to 60 miles an hour. That ain't no good. Not at all.
Well, that'll be something I'm sure this board will address.
That's exactly right. We'll have oversight on this. And so, you know how we've been conducting business? That's how we're going to conduct this business.
I called about that same thing, and the lady said, well, they have property on it. I said, these deer campers ain't no property owner. They don't have any power there. It's not a meter there. It's not a water meter. It's not electrical meter, nothing else. But they don't need to be having a mosquito embankment in a deer.
Well, I don't know if it'd be the case, but the technology now, if they get a truck, you can tell how fast they're going. You can tell where they're going, and you can tell where they're at when they do it. So, and those are the kind of things that if this passes and the committees form, those things are going to be over hard oversight by that committee, Mr. Sims. So I'm with you though. I've seen them blazing down the road. You know, they might get 5 mosquitoes every quarter mile. But
I have friends bragging that they ain't never paid mosquito embankment. They didn't want it. And
that's why we want to put it on that tax bill.
That's right.
They'll pay it then, won't they?
Yeah.
That's how we got to do it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sims.
Mr. Chairman, I'll probably want to vote to establish the
board. Well, then just do it.
However,
all right. Go ahead.
I don't question the funding mechanism and that why it was being charged wrongly. I don't question that, and I've made that perfectly clear. That's not my argument. My argument is the effectiveness of it. Creating a government board, another government department, when each has any of you, I have watched the mosquito truck go by and still swatting more mosquitoes as the truck goes by. So I question the effectiveness of it. I know it's a fear-driven thing, and a lot of people are going to go for it because of fear, and I understand. And I'm not saying that it's just of no value at all. But has anybody ever brought in a private company that comes into your property, concentrates mosquito abatement on your property by walking across, treating the grass, the brushes, the shrubs, the water that's standing on your property?
$80.
$80.
One tree.
I mean,
but it's a lot more effective, I bet.
Lasts for 1 week.
For killing mosquitoes at your house than spending the $30 on whatever.
I mean, but John, Mr. Watkins, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, but we don't know, but we're not experts. But I mean, I'm not an expert on putting a road down or something like that. But we have hired experts to tell us that.
That's fine, and I'll
look, and
I'm just asking we just don't just jump into create.
I agree.
One quick thing.
Go ahead.
On the being effective, we'll have one meeting at your house at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, then we'll have one at my house. And let's see how many mosquitoes bite you at my house versus at your house where it's being sprayed.
But you got to do it before and after. That way you can compare them.
y'all really want to get bit, we'll have one at my house.
I just want to know.
All right, we got a motion in a second. Anything further from the council? No. Ms. Sandy, call the vote.
Blood suck.
Please
Mr.
hurry.
Lovell?
Yes.
Mr. Averett?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Girlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
All right. Moving along here, let's see. All right. Item 18, request for waivers intended for allowance of permitting due to the restrictions of LP ordinance my favorite ordinance, number 17-22, section 13-26.1.
Don't disagree.
Prohibitions and restrictions of use for mobile home manufactured homes to be placed in a named subdivision for the intent of on-site custom-built single-family homes. We have two this week. This is for Lonnie. What's that?
One of my districts.
Yeah. Lonnie Roussel, address for the waiver of West Coyo Acres, 24140 Milliken Drive, Denham Springs, Louisiana, 70726. You okay with that one, Mr. Averett? Got a motion by Mr. Averett,
I'll second Mr. Averett.
second by Mr. Talbot. Anything from the audience? Anything else from the council? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, the second one is Ronnie Barnum, address waiver for Sims Road Estates, 11849 Sims Road, Denham Springs, Louisiana, 70706. That's Mr. Talbot.
Back in May, Mr. Barnum bought a piece of property and re-subdivided other minor subdivisions and improvements. And he didn't give any addresses. So when he came to get the permit, he had to contact the permit office at the same time to get 6 addresses established. I believe somebody has been sick. So where I'm asking to do this waiver for Mr. Barnum without addresses, just the 6 lots, the addresses are forthcoming.
I got his address today.
You got the addresses today? So Sandy's got the addresses, so I'd like just to waive these lots for Mr. Barnum.
All right, do you need to read those into the record?
The address that he gave me is 11849 Sims Road, Denham Springs, 70706.
All right. So is that a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Talbot, second by Mr. Averett. Any discussion from the audience? Anything further from the council? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okey doke. Item 19, Livingston Parish Fire Protection District Number 1. Mr. Mack, I believe you have a acceptance for resignation and an appointment. So we want to accept the resignation of Mr. Gary Glasscock, and as the appointment by Mr. Brian Neal, that's to cover Mr. Glasscock?
You're 100% correct.
All right. And he'll serve out his remaining term, which ends January 1st, 2019. Did everything for you? Did you
That
have
is
anything
also
else to add?
correct. That's right. Mr. Gary Glasscock is a wonderful Christian friend of mine who served that board well. And he has resigned. And Mr. Brian Neal is going to take his place. And he is also a wonderful gentleman who's going to serve that board and the community well. I'm very excited to appoint Brian Neal to that board. So I'd like to make that motion, Sandy, or Chairman, can I make one motion to?
Jam, put them together, yeah.
All right.
Is it okay with something?
Yeah.
Thanks.
So it's a motion to accept the resignation of Mr. Gary Glasscock and to appoint Mr. Brian Neal to serve out Mr. Glasscock's remaining term, which ends January 1st, 2019. Motion by Mr. Mack, second by Mr. Lobel. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. Item 20. Move the October 26th, 2017 regular meeting of the Livingston Parish to Wednesday, October 25th, 2017. Mr. Talbot.
This over football game, high school football game. I mean, you know, we don't have council meetings on Sunday. We don't need to have them on Thursday night. This is the second most important day of the week. We have high school football.
Okay.
Yeah. Normally it's okay.
Normally it's okay. We got high school football Thursday night. Walker playing live. So we're asking to move that meeting from Thursday, October 22nd to Wednesday, October 25th.
Is this televised?
It's supposed
Did
to
I
be
skip it?
televised on Cox Sports Television, which would put it in every Cox market in the country on that Thursday night game.
That'd be great.
Outstanding. I'd make the motion, but I can't, so.
I'm gonna make the motion.
All right.
My
Motion-
second.
Art got it.
Motion by Mr. Tower, second by Mr. Ard. Any further discussion from the audience? Any discussion from the council?
I typically ain't good with things on Wednesday nights, but I'll make an exception on this.
Y'all don't
Oh, I
play-
forgot about that.
Y'all don't play football
Man,
over there, do
You're
you?
right, there are other things important on Wednesday night. I forgot about
You just, wasn't you a pastor's son?
that. You're right.
And you just left Wednesday night
That's right.
Bible study, come out.
I
Just
sure
let
did, I
church on Wednesday
forgot.
night, all out.
Boy, I
We ain't gonna hold it against you. No, you okay.
I did say football was second to Sunday though, so I mean.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
you did.
Got a little grace.
All right.
We're gonna do more research on that son of a preacher. We're gonna
I think we need,
Well, you know what they say about preachers' kids.
Moving on. All right, we get
don't be judges.
The preacher's kids always work.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Good.
And we will advertise it in the paper. officially.
All right, we're going to go to the addendum.
Boy, what you talking about?
What? The addendum?
Yeah, where's that?
A1,
Oh, yeah.
tenure thing. Authorization to advertise for bids for the construction of the new Livingston Parish Assessor's Office. So basically, we're just authorizing the parish president
I'll make that motion.
to. So there's a motion by Mr. Ard, second by Mr. Avery. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? Ms. Sandy, would you call the vote?
Mr. Lidell?
Yes.
Mr. Avery?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Wostam?
Yes.
Mr. Greenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
Item 21, discuss upcoming trunk or treat event on October 31st, 2017. Mr. Harris.
Well, this is an ongoing thing from last Halloween, and a lot of the parents came to me this year wanting to do this again. It was fantastic for the children last year. It's a good, safe place for the children to walk around. You have your vehicles parked there, and you pass the candy out of the trunk, and they, like in a circle area. Mr. Talbot was with me last year, and he can tell you how well it went. We had the fire department there. We had a lot of different things going on, other than just candy. And hopefully this year it'll even be bigger and better.
Did y'all start some fires? Y'all had the fire department there?
Yeah.
Fire department was there giving tours of the thing way up in the air.
Yeah, the smoke, that and the smokehouse.
Smokehouse.
Yeah.
Okay, so where is it at? Because you didn't say.
South Park.
South Park, all right.
From 6 to 8.
Fire prevention
Fire
education.
prevention education.
Nicely put.
I seen in the paper where West Feliciana's doing the same thing too, the sportsplex there.
It worked out, look, it was worked out really well. It was enjoyable. The kids had a blast. It was great to see come out in their little costume. And it was no, you had to worry about getting, they didn't have to cross these streets. It was just a really, really nice event. I enjoyed going out there. I'm gonna even decorate my trunk this time. Last time I just showed up with candy.
That's all you need.
But
That's the main thing.
look, Miss Kathy she had her trunk decorated, son. It was nice.
Hey, guess what it looked like?
Looked like a big toad
It
frog.
looked like a big frog.
I'm going to get one of them giant dinosaurs from Home Depot and put out there.
And I got a call yesterday,
There again, we're not trying to take this away from any churches or anyone else that's having their own trick or treat, This is for people that don't really have a place to go, and it's a good, safe place for them. And that's what we're pushing for.
Is there time on it, though?
6 to 8. Mr. Joe, I've almost got a 100% commitment on getting hot dogs donated for this, like 1,000 hot dogs. You willing to, maybe set up and do a little firing on that for us?
If y'all don't mind me pulling my personal barbecue pit with my fire truck.
Man, look, you can pull anything you want with that fire truck. I done told you that.
I've read those rules. You have exclusive rights to all apparatus.
Yeah,
So-
We appreciate that. I'm gonna get a complete on that tomorrow, Bubba. But I talked to the man yesterday.
Nothing like putting you on the
Got the
spot, Joe.
bonds, the bonds already there. All the condiments is gonna be there. The boats to put the hot dogs in, the paper boats, all that's gonna be there.
So
Fancy.
We look like we're gonna have hot dogs for everybody. It don't have to be no kids. Everybody comes.
Are
to
you
hot
gonna have
dog.
real chili or like that chili sauce?
No, you're not getting chili. That's too messy.
Ain't no chili.
Although I can get that out if you get it on you.
So, look, I'll tell you, look, this is important.
Maybe we should serve.
Mr. Giroux said he has nothing to add, so that kind of kills item 22. So item 23 is the committee report, Mr. Frog.
Finance received the budget today. Y'all all be getting a copy of it for the 2018 year and the amendment for 2017. And I would ask y'all if you go over the next week or so, peruse it so that we can talk about issues that we might have or things we want to see done different. So this, to be honest with you, this is the first budget. I mean, we've been in office almost 2 years, the first budget we're going to get to address. The budget for 2016 was approved by the previous council. 2017, we had a flood right before the budget would have been introduced to us. And so we agreed to take a standstill budget and just move forward with it in good faith. So this is the first year that we've actually get to address the budget. You're going to see there's some exciting things. There's $6 million in there for road overlay and some other stuff in there. So, you know, I mean, take time, get your budget, take time, look at it, peruse it, develop questions. If you have any, Ms. Myers will be there to answer anything for you. And we're going to try to get together and have some public meetings that the public can come address some concerns they have and actually do this in a way that sheds some light on our budget and what we
Make it more open and let people see
let
what's in
people
it.
come see it, see how the process works and move forward with it.
I agree, that's a good idea.
Thank you. I moved him first. That way I knew you would. I want you to have all the time you wanted, not feel rushed.
Oh, good Lord.
Mr. Max, so floor is yours.
I would just like to say that I have enjoyed serving with the ordinance committee, and I feel that we have made some positive change in the past. We truly have. We tackled the gravel pit ordinance. We tackled the gun range ordinance. We tackled the minor subdivision ordinance once, and it looks like we're going to look at this minor subdivision ordinance one more time. I would also like to say that we're going to talk about whether or not we feel that we need a pond ordinance, okay? Some rules and some regulation about, you know, where you can dig a pond and you know, the slope of ponds and stuff like that, you know? Whenever we revised that gravel pit ordinance, we basically removed the ordinance, you know, governing ponds. And so I'd like to just talk about it and bring that up and see if y'all feel that that's the direction we need to go. And I think that it is extremely important for the public to come to that meeting, which is going to be next Thursday at 6 o'clock. And is that October the 5th, right? And provide us their input. You know, in the past, the ordinances that we have changed, the constituents of Livingston Parish have really provided good feedback and helped us make those positive changes. And I'd like to thank them for that and hope that if they're concerned about these two ordinances, that they show up and voice their opinion. And thank you for that time to announce that, but that is next Thursday, October the 5th at 6 o'clock. We're going to have an ordinance committee meeting, and anybody's welcome.
About 15, 20 minutes?
It ought to last about 5 minutes. You know, the way Gary likes to talk, you know.
John, are you on that committee?
Yes, sir.
I forgot one important thing.
We're going to add that in the councilman comments on the next section.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm
Shouldn't
sorry.
stay forever.
Go ahead. I mean, you say it then, say it now.
No, the only thing I wanted to add was, if there's anyone that would like to volunteer to pass out candy, help to serve hot dogs or whatever for the trunk or treat, we need them to contact our office. I don't know, I guess Miss Angie would be the best one.
Why not?
No, but, just contact the office and give them your name, number, and all. And they'll write it down and get with us.
All right, outstanding.
All right.
Thank you,
All right. So that covered
27 minutes.
item 24. Councilman comments? Anything got any extra?
I want to go ahead and put something on the record. There's a little wager tomorrow night between 3 councilmen. Live Oak's playing Denham
You
Springs.
couldn't wait, could you?
If Live Oak wins, Councilman Keene and Councilman Wasson will be wearing Live Oak jerseys at the next council meeting provided by me.
And if?
And if Denham Springs wins, I will be wearing a Denham Springs football jersey provided by the other 2 councilmen. Want to get that on the public record so that when he dies, this thing is over.
All righty
Well, there you
then.
have it.
If not, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Ard, second by Mr. Avery. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?